Well, teenagers have been warned they're putting themselves at risk of an early death by misusing anabolic steroids in an attempt to look good. Bodybuilder Zak Wilkinson from Middlesbrough spent £35,000 on his steroid addiction. But earlier this year, the 32-year-old was left fighting for his life after collapsing and being left in a coma.
They say the devil makes work for idle hands.
But yeah, it does. It sucks you in, the drink, drugs, gambling, everything.
Stuff like that. They might not realise kind of how normal that is.
Things like that, you know, and it would just turn into like a snowball effect.
Welcome back to The View with Vertex. We have got another very special guest in the studio today. I'm joined by Zak Wilkinson. Zak's story has been sort of all over social media, all over traditional media, actually.
Yeah, even up until New York, it even got as far as that.
Yeah, I mean, because when you sent me the story, it was in the lab. It was in Lab Bible, which is like it's a big outlet. But then, since then it's been in New York Times.
It was.
I saw like Yorkshire Post, some of the local.
I think it was in like some Indian Post as well.
Oh, really?
Out in India, there was my mate's Greek, and he said it was even in a Greek one that he keeps up to date with. So yeah.
So it's been picked up on by a lot of people, and we'll get into sort of what the story's about as in a couple of minutes. But just a bit of background on yourself. You sound like you're a North East lad. So
yeah, exactly. So I'm from Middlesbrough, 32. Rope access scaffolder. Been scaffolding now since I was about 20, 21. So I've been in and around the construction industry, onshore, offshore, quite a lot really, quite intense.
I think when you're from the North East, you're pretty much born with a scaffold spanner in your hand, aren't you?
It's either that or a rigger, yeah, mate. It is, yeah.
Yeah,
right,
I've got a lot of good mates who are from that part of the world, good scaffolders as well.
Yeah.
What got you into the scaffolding game?
My dad, his friend was working up on the Shetland Island on the Slum 4, and he just said, "Look, my son needs a job."
Very, very well.
Yeah, that you know well. But obviously, when I first started, you didn't have to go and do the course before your part one. You could just literally go do your part one scaffolding, and you become a part one scaffolder. Well, now I think you've got to do your labourer's card and things like that.
Yeah, it's changed a little bit.
Yeah, so it's changed since I was there. Yeah, so first started working up there.
So you was up there as a part one?
Yes, went up there as a part one. Okay. Obviously, it was a big job. I know a lot of the lads were trying to get onto it. It was Bill Finger at the time who had it. And I remember when we first went in, we got inducted, and I remember one of the safety guys, Mark Gofton, he was called. He was from Middlesbrough. And he actually said to me, if you don't know what the difference is between a double and a swivel, you may as well go home now. And I was thinking, right, what is it? Honest, and I thought, I'm not going to last here at all. Well, I did, and I enjoyed it. I was there about 3 years.
Yeah, that's a great place to work.
It was. It was like you say, 3 in 1 rotation, so 3 weeks
on,
1 week off.
I was the same, yeah.
Weather, incredible.
Yeah, I think what catches a lot of people out up there is the daylight.
Yeah,
it's the fact that like when we were up there in the summer, I mean I should probably disclaimer it. Like when we was up there, like we were in a pub. Do you know what I mean? So it was like every night after work, you'd be you just go straight into the pub because that's where we were staying. I think later on they moved it into like an accommodation block, but for us, straight in the pub. And I remember coming out of the booze like one night, and it must have been like 1 a.m. or something like that. And I walked outside, I'm like, broad daylight. I'm not looking at me. What time is it? And it's like it's that far north, isn't it? I don't think people really realise it. Obviously in the winter it's the same, and it's
in the winter it's hardly. I think it was only about 4 or 5 hours daylight, and then in the summer I remember we'd have the green nets on because the midges were out, so you couldn't win.
Up there, weren't they?
Yeah, so you couldn't win. So enjoyed it up there. Was working on Battersea Power Station in London for a while. That was a good job. And then started eventually in the offshore game as well. North Sea, things like that.
So just to go into the story of, obviously you've been around the scaffolding industry for a long time. The story that's been picked up by a lot of the media has been around the steroids.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about the side effect and consequences of it. I'd like to go into it. But I mean, just with the type and nature of work that you were involved with, a lot of like working away, a lot of like you say, the rotations 3 in 1, and spending. They say the devil makes work for idle hands. Yeah, you've got a lot of time sort of to sit and think about what your next move is going to be.
Yeah.
Did you find that was sometimes had a negative.
Yeah, of course, yeah, because I say you get stuck in that rut as well of being away. You know, you're becoming that lifestyle of being away. You know, you're constantly working with lads. You'd be on the park with them for 12 hours a day. You'd be going back to the same rooms with them. You'd be showering with them. You'd be out drinking, eating with them. You know, so you can come on top of each other, but at the same time, you know, you can come. I've met some really, really good lads out of it as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right in what you're saying. Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of sort of, as much as it can, you know, it could be a great lifestyle working away, because, you know, you can earn some really, really good money.
You can, yeah.
And if you do the right thing, you've got a bit of a plan.
Yeah.
You can invest that money and you can really set yourself up with this, you know, that working away lifestyle.
Yeah.
I think what happens to a lot of people, it's certainly what happened to me, and by the sounds of it, what happened to yourself, is you get into that sort of working away lifestyle and you're having a load of money thrown at you as a young man, and you don't really know what to do with it.
No,
so, I mean, things that I found were really kind of, you know, prevalent, were, you know, a lot of gambling, you know, a lot of lads playing cards, and, you know.
I'm the same with that. Like I say, I suffer bad with gambling myself, gambling addict as well, you know, so like I say, I'm 9 weeks clean of that. But yeah, it sucks you in, the drink, drugs, gambling, everything. You just get stuck in that lifestyle. Yeah, you're right.
So with the steroids, and, you know, you were a bodybuilder, right? So when we say, it's easy to say sort of just steroids and it's like, you know, recreation or whatever. You were a dedicated
100%
competitive bodybuilder.
Yeah. Like I said, I was planning on doing it was my first show I was planning on for. It should have been 2 weeks ago. So yeah, I put everything into it. Like I say, I always trained since I was young, but the last 2 years, that's when it really intensified. Like literally, I wouldn't, the meal prepping, you know, I was constantly prepping every day. Everything was weighed. I wouldn't ever eat bad, even when I was told, like, I'll have an off-meal plan, we call it, like a cheat. I wouldn't, you know, I'd just skip a meal instead, you know, because I was taking like 6 meals a day on a training day. So yeah, it gets a grip with you, you know, it takes over your social life as well.
And so, specifically around the kind of the competitive nature of bodybuilding, like, you know, trying to get that edge, I think it's fair to say that for like most bodybuilders, or people even just recreational bodybuilders, I think steroids is quite a normal kind of part of that scene, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So you've got your bodybuilders, but then coaches will have this people called a lifestyle client. So that's people who will go to like Ibiza, places like that, and they'll still take the steroids, you know. We were speaking about this the other day to one of my friends. Actually, 40% of people who go to the gym have either took steroids or really considered, you know, so which is a big stat when you think about it. But yeah, it is. It's big. It's for younger generation as well.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, when the story hits the papers, it's like almost like, oh, you hear the words like steroid and abuse and it's drugs and like to some people who are, you know, don't go to the gym and stuff like that, they might not realise kind of how normal that is.
It is.
It's just an absolutely normal part of going to the gym. It's like natty or not natty, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you know, it's kind of,
it's becoming a trend.
It's either or, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you think? Was it the competitive nature of like the bodybuilding, or was it something else that led you down sort of that path?
So obviously, I would say, like I spoke on earlier, I was addicted to gambling. So I've always loved to train as well. Trained since I left school. Took steroids since I left school. But me doing the show was sort of me trying to take my focus away from the gambling and think, right, if I put all my focus into this will try and... So I was trying to stop something, but then again something else. You know, so it was like trying to stop that addiction for my gambling, but then it led me down that path, you know. So it's something I've always wanted to do, but like I say, them 2 years when it really intensified, and that's just when that become my addiction, you know. So it was a catch-22 really.
Yeah, so you think like an addictive...
yeah, like I say, I've been diagnosed with, like I say, addictive personality, OCD, PTSD, things like that. So yeah, like I say, I suffer like fixations. So if I say I'm going to do something, you know, I'll just fix on it. And
it's so crazy because like some of these things, like there's such fine margins.
Yeah.
It's like, where's the margin between someone that having like an obsession that's really, really beneficial? Because I think most people who start a company, who do anything successfully in life, most of them are pretty obsessed with, you know, with whatever pursuit that might be. And such a fine line between that obsession becoming you know, detrimental to you.
You say everything in moderation, it should be, you know, but it's like what you say, is trying to find that fine line of between obsessive and compulsive, or keep trying to keep it balanced.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that side of balance. I was just ears were just on that.
Right. Where do you think that stems from?
Possibly childhood. Like I say, mum and dad split up as a young age. So I started training with the older guys when I left school. So maybe I was maybe just chasing that sort of tight knit bond, that father figure, things like that, and it was just, it turned into like a snowball effect, I think.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think people, you almost search for what you've lacked, you know, to like you say, an extended family in the gym. In scaffolding, I think a lot of people
exactly, mate. Yeah.
Found that, and just to touch on what you said there, I think myself growing up, single parent family a lot of the time, and that kind of thing, and you do sort of you look up to your charge hands.
Of course you do, yeah, 100%.
Your supervisors, and these people are they almost become father figures to you. And you're gonna be and act out what you're surrounded with, and if you
just become a product of your own environment, basically. And
I guess if you're lucky enough to be around people who go to the gym and stuff like that, then it's like there are worse things to spend your time doing.
Of course there is, yeah.
And going and watching the match and watching the football and having a bit of a flutter and stuff like that. There are worse things that you could spend your time doing. But like you say, it's when it gets to that obsessive, almost compulsive behaviour. Did you find that first with the gambling?
Yeah. That started at a young age. But it was just like a Saturday thing. 15, finish football training, you go get a haircut. My mum would take me. She'd give me like a £5 a week, and I'd say, "Oh, can you go put a bet on for me?" And that's how it'd slowly start. And then it just got bigger and bigger. That's where the compulsive became and the addiction came in. To literally where I was gambling on anything, and it was bad when we were away working. You were gambling every single day, but it was just
the access to it as well with the gambling.
100%, mate. Yeah, like say you go out on your dinner break with the lads, you pop into the bookies, or it's there on your phone. It's everywhere. It's all over social media. It's on when you're watching a football match. It comes up on the halftime break. So yeah, like I say, that got down to literally every day. I was gambling on anything. UFC, football. I was even gambling on the app where you can watch people what they're watching playing FIFA. That's how bad it got.
Yeah.
Even virtual horses, virtual thing. So that's how much it got a grip of me. Do you know what I mean? So I was trying to think. After got to a point where I realised how much it was taking over. That's when I tried to transfer it over into the bodybuilding game.
Yeah, and I think anyone who sees that will go, "Oh, that's a great sort of transition," And people would probably recommend something like that.
Of course.
A behavioural therapist did say, that's what they recommend, right? It's
try
and replace the negative behaviour with something more positive. And in the beginning, obviously, the gym is that.
Yeah.
But by the sounds of it, it took a really kind of dark turn. I read the story in Lab Bible, and it was talking about the amount of money that you were kind of spending on what a lot of people would refer to as performance enhancing drugs. How much?
Yeah, so that's some. Like I say, I was taking growth hormone, which is very expensive.
Very expensive, yeah.
So I was paying £150 for that. So I'd do 2 of them a month.
And is that per injection, £150?
No. So you get a box of 100 IU. So I was taking between 5 IU and 7.5 IU a day.
And that's just administered
just into the fat in your stomach. Yeah. So I'd do that morning and night, and then as I got closer onto the show, I was doing that post gym. So that's when it says in the article I was jabbing up to 3 times a day. And, I've seen some of the comments, and
because I think there's a misconception there.
Yeah,
people think with traditional.
As soon as they see steroids, they just think, well, you should be taking this, and this. Everyone all of a sudden becomes a doctor. So I say I was taking the growth hormone. So like I say, that was cost me £300 in general, just a month, just on that. And then it was I was taking 2 types of testosterone based. I was taking a Trembolone. Equipoise, Masteron. So them last 3 I mentioned they're all actually for cattle. I know. So they're made for cattle, so obviously to enhance the growth, to produce more meat. And then obviously the tablets I was taking Anavar, T3s, T4s, Clenbuterol.
And
they're fat stripping, yeah. But then obviously I was taking my creatines, my proteins, my EAAs, pre-workouts, post-workout drinks. I'll be having my cream of rice, things like that. So when I say that sum, it was around the 700, 750 mark.
And that's on, I guess, supplementation.
Supplementation, broadly. Yeah, that's what I tried to get across. So yeah, but then obviously
I think sometimes when they report things in the media, they try and
yeah, of
sensationalise
course,
it a little bit.
yeah, because obviously if I read that and seen someone was injecting actual steroids 3 times a day, you know, it does sound a lot.
Yeah.
Steroids I was doing 3 times a week. I was doing growth hormone 2 or 3 times a day. You know, so when you look at it like that, I was doing like about 17 injections a week, 49 tablets a week.
Still a lot though, isn't it?
Of course it is, mate. It is. Yeah, it is.
And it's like, I guess to a degree, your body doesn't really know what's going on. It's like some things are raising your blood pressure, some things
Exactly
are,
that. You know, so I was getting the side effects from that: the nosebleeds, diarrhea, the shakes, vomiting. But again, like that all became like my normal. But
I think what people tend to do is you'll rationalize things. Like we were talking earlier, weren't we, about essentially what you're doing is like you're living your life like 24 hours a day in like a boxer pre-weighing.
Of course, yeah.
Which is like, it's even dangerous for a boxer to do that to a degree up until the weighing.
Yeah.
To live that kind of 7 days a week up until a bodybuilding contest.
Because even like I say, a rest day, you're still going getting your cardio in the morning. You're still getting your steps. Like I say when I suffered with my fixations, like I couldn't go to bed till I hit 30,000 steps a day, things like that, you know. And looking on my watch, how many calories I'd burn, I'd have to be burning at least 2,000 calories a day. And
I know so many people who've been like, these are great. There's a great piece of tech, wearable technology is it's fantastic. But to someone in the wrong kind of frame of mind, they can be really, really, it can be a really negative influence. As you say, you fixate on.
I was just fixated on it. I remember even when I came out of the coma, I remember I was laying in bed and I kept doing that. Didn't even have my watch on, but I kept doing it, looking at my wrist, and I thought, what are you doing? And I realised, like,
it's like muscle memory almost.
Yeah, that's exactly it, mate. I remember I kept doing that, and I thought, what am I doing?
So you mentioned the word then, and it's kind of what we were leading on to.
Yeah.
All of this sort of, taking the various different compounds and all the rest of it, like you say, you rationalise the nosebleeds, the headaches, vomiting and stuff like that. With being in that sort of calorie deprived, deficit, kind of state, and you will sort of write that off as being, it's just a side effect of this, that, and the other. It turns out the sign of something a lot more kind of sinister than that.
Yeah. Say the build up to it. I just came home from work. I've been working away. So I got home, I think, about the Wednesday. I was taking my son to the farm on the Friday. I was going up there with my sister. Just going on the farm, things like that. And then we went for a coffee afterwards. And that was the last thing that I remember of my coma until I woke up out of my coma, which was 9 days later. So I remember walking home from the farm.
So you managed to walk home from the farm, but like...
But I was fine. Out. No, I was fine. All this time I was fine. But my last actual memory was me being in the farm and going for a coffee with my sister and my son. And I didn't actually get admitted to hospital till early hours Sunday morning, so Saturday night. So I don't have no recollection of getting home from the farm or the Saturday. Next thing I woke up, I was in hospital.
Yeah, so I guess it's difficult to have a timeline from...
Well, yeah, it was 100%. I was I couldn't speak for about 2 to 3 days when I woke up out the coma. So
how did you end up getting admitted to hospital then?
So I was staying at my sister's. It was my sister who found me, so I've came out of the room. It's a bungalow, so I've came out the bedroom, and she's just heard a big thud. And as she's come in, I've ripped the telly off the wall because I've been trying to get my balance. So she's managed to get me into the recovery position, but then she said I was like leaning over onto the sofa with my fist shaking, having a fit and a seizure with a puddle of sweat underneath me, like literally a puddle of sweat. So then obviously she rang the ambulance, and that's when it took 3 of them to get me into the ambulance. And my younger sister, there's me and my 2 sisters. My younger sister met the ambulance at the hospital, and all she said when they opened the doors, it was looked if I had a stroke.
Sort of facial.
Yeah, she just said everything looked drooped. Obviously was non-responsive, non-verbal. So that's when they admitted me straight into the induced coma.
I mean, it's such a scary, it sounds such a scary experience to have to live through, and especially for your family as well.
Massive on my family. Like I say, my mum could have lost her son. My partner could have lost the father to her son. My son nearly lost his dad. He's only 3, So like I say, to me, I think it's selfish. At the time I didn't, because I was selfish at the time. But like I say, it's just one of the things where you think it's never going to happen to me. You know, you think I thought I was invincible. You know,
I should say as well, like, as much as it's, I mean, this story really has blown up and loads of people have got hold of it, and it's like, but even in my personal experience, it's not kind of an isolated thing, is it? Like when you actually, when I told a few people that you were coming on, you were going to come and have a chat with us, a few people said, oh yeah, you know, you really need to get that message out, especially the industry.
Yeah, it is.
I know X, Y, and Z, and he ended up dying, he ended up passing away through organ failure, and it was through taking these, you know, performance enhancing drugs. I mentioned to you, didn't I? A second cousin of mine, he ended up in similar, you know what I mean, like an induced coma through tannin injections.
I was the same. I was taking them like 3 times a week at the same time, as well as obviously all the other things as well. So yeah, it's scary, mate. It is, and it's not. There's no help, or there's no awareness out there. You know, you've got your GA for your gamblers, you've got your AA for your alcohol, your drugs, things like that. But there's nothing there for specific for like steroids or hormones, things like that. You know, and that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I want to try and do, and get out there and give the awareness for it. It needs a lot more for it.
It definitely does in our industry, because I mean, like, and you mentioned yourself there, Zach, like a lot of the lads that you were going to the gym with that early days, and that you even yourself, you know, you started using the gear, as it's known,
it is,
in the gyms. You started using the gear like early on, like, and it's mad because your body's producing so much natural testosterone anyway, to then start throwing other compounds in, and then like it can really start having a negative effect on your endocrine system.
Everything, you know, and everything from your testosterone levels to your sex drive to your moods.
So even your ability to procreate, do you know what I mean?
100%, mate. Yeah, I'm lucky I have been able to do that, you know. But you're right. And you know, and it's getting just so much more common now. Like you say, they're all wanting this quick fix.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, when I looked at the pictures that they published in some of the articles, like, you look at the, you know, you're like, wow, this guy's in great shape. Do you know what I mean? Like, you looked a fucking specimen. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of people look at that and go, wow, this guy's like in super, you know.
But then what I always say to that is then show them the coma photo. You know, so as much as it is, you know, and you do put a lot of hard work into your training and a sacrifice, but you know, I just think it's just not worth it. You know, like I say, people have seen the photos, and it's just it took me. It sent because obviously I didn't see any photos until a couple of weeks ago of it till it went out. But it shocked me as well to see that. You know.
What about your friends who you go to the gym with? Like,
see, I usually
train. You tend to be in a circle of similar people, don't you?
Yeah, of course, yeah. But yeah, it's to put them off. Seeing that, because I think they realise how good I did look, and to me and to them, I was the strongest, fittest, healthiest, you know. But that can literally be turned in a click of a finger. Yeah, it's like it really is. It's scary, and like, I mean, when I had the scaffold company, you know, we employed like lads 17, 18, you know, and they're already sort of bang at it. They're already bang into it, and they tell you what like stack they're on, and you're like, have you done any research into any of this? And like, obviously, like for the most part, the research is either what they've found on some Reddit forum, if they're lucky, because you know, sometimes they can be a great source of decent advice, but often it's just some other bloke who goes to the gym who's that's how I started. You know, I was going to the gym with these older lads, and I said, how do I get to look like that? He said, take that. Didn't say how much, how often, didn't know anything about the pyramids, you know, coming up, coming down off it, didn't know about anything taken after you took stuff. Didn't know anything. Like I said, I had all the side effects early on in my path of it, in my story. But again, it didn't stop me. You know, they just got worse and worse and worse. Yeah,
because I mean, like the side effects when you listen to it, it's like formation of breast tissue, has the increased estrogen levels. You know the acne and the sort of physical.
So you had the visual, you had the mental, and you had the internal.
Yeah, again, that's another thing. Just in my own experience of mates who've been on a cycle, and they've been like fairly. I won't say scientific with it, but they've put a bit of research into it. Once they're off that course, you know, they're down in the dumps.
Well, that's it. That's when you start getting we get the withdrawals. Like I say, that's when the mood swings start coming. Your strength starts decreasing. You know, because you're used to looking in this really good shape and you're eating as if you are. So then obviously once you come off the gear, you know, you're going to start getting fat because you're still eating that stuff, the same as what you were before. That's when it starts getting in your head, you know, because obviously you can't lift how you were before. You're hitting all your personal bests, your strength's decreasing, you're looking worse, you're coming off all the gear, your hormones are all over. You know, you got to think you've been injecting for the past 6 to 8 weeks, you know, so your testosterone inside's thinking, well, I don't need to start producing because I'm getting it from somewhere else. You cut that out, then it's like, right, so now what? You know, so everything's going on. Everything's up and down.
A lot of the time, it's like these other compounds that people take, like you know, Novadex and Clomid and things like that. To, like they call it PCT. Yeah. Which, if you listen to, you know, the advice that's out there, that's the correct thing to do. But again, a lot of these compounds and stuff, they're not. Let's say they're used in an off-label type of way. Yeah. So they're not made for that specific thing.
Yeah, like say, well, nothing was, like say, like I mentioned earlier, the Trenbolone and the Equipoise, they're used for cattle, you know, and that's men. Like, you know, if you picture a man and you picture a bull, it's a big difference, mate, isn't it? You know what I mean? So it's that there in itself just speaks volumes, you know, what you're actually injecting, and plus all of these aren't getting tested on humans; they're all tested on animals, which are then being injected to humans.
Yeah, I think what hopefully the story does is it will shed a lot of light on, and you know, what is definitely an issue. Certainly I'm not just going to say the scaffolding industry.
No,
you know what scaffolding's like.
Of course. Obviously, scaffolders always get that name. They always do, the same as riggers always get that name. But I just think it's construction-based wise, whether that's onshore, offshore, whether that's, you know, just on the full construction side. It is big, you know, because it's sort of becoming a trend of people wanting to go to the gym, look big, have the abs, you know, but it's what comes with it as well.
Would you say that, like, social media played into it for
100%,
you?
100%. We had this conversation the other day as well. Like say you're getting these young lads looking at older lads on Instagram, you know, they're in shape, they've got the abs, you know, but think of how they've got there. It's probably took a week to edit that photo. They've probably starved themselves for a couple of days. They've probably been on gi themselves, and they don't look like that all year round. They probably look like that for 2 or 3 months of the year.
It's all highlight reel, isn't it? Like everyone says.
100% it is, yeah, you know, but you've got this young lad thinking, I want that, how can I get it? And again, it's that quick fix path.
Yeah, everyone wants quicker, simpler, cheaper.
Exactly that, mate, the quicker and the simpler the way to get it.
I mean, I think it's probably, for a lot of the ladies out there as well, I think, well, even guys as well that I've known, there's this new one that a lot of people are taking for fat loss.
Yeah,
I struggle to remember the name of that one.
Manjaro pen, is it?
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, it's, again, mate, that's for the women. And again, what that's doing to the insides, my sister actually works in a hospital, and she said what it's actually doing, it's bursting people's stomachs and intestines and things like that. So it's, you know, again, it's a quick fix for it. It's another quick fix. It's a.
I do think that, you know, social media definitely plays a lot into it, because it's like you see, like we said, someone's highlight reel, you think they must look like that all the time.
It's just 15 seconds.
Yeah, and like, as you say, chances are it was just 15 seconds, and then, you know, you breathe out and, you know, it's not that picture anymore. Yeah. It's a really kind of dangerous thing for young people to try and aspire to.
Yeah. And then but then again, that's how it can start. That's how the addiction can start. That's how mine started, just at a young age like that. Yeah.
Again, it's accessing it.
Access, mate. Like you can get it from online. People in the gym. You know, if you do it online, it can be your door within 2 days.
Yeah, and I mean, even it's access to the kind of content around it. Like you can find whatever you want on social media, and social media's got this really certainly TikTok and Instagram and things like that. I've got this really clever way of the algorithm giving you more of what it thinks you want to see. So if it thinks you want to see, you know, people with unrealistic aesthetics, do you know what I mean? Then that's what you're going to see.
Yeah, it is,
and if you're into like gambling, do you know what I mean? If you go on Google and you look for a story around whatever, you're probably going to get a bunch of adverts that are tailored around.
So if you're sat on YouTube, you're going to get the adverts coming up for it.
Yeah. So it's just a dangerous place to be.
It is.
And then to think that what you said, there's no support, like GA. And all these Narcotics Anonymous.
Like I said, there's GA, there's AA, but like I said, there's nothing out there for steroid addiction, you know, and it's in the steroid industry, it's always just been swept aside and swept under the carpet. You know, even like your big known people who take steroids, like the big bodybuilders, it's always they'll quickly answer the question and move straight on. You know, so it's always just like I say,
I think even anyone with a half decent physique,
yeah,
like it's just a huge topic, isn't it? That people want to know, like, oh, it's natty or not natty, innit? Like,
yeah,
have you done this natural or not? And it's like, who cares? Do you know what I mean?
Who cares? Yeah,
it's whether they have or they haven't.
Yeah.
That's them. You're you.
100%. Yeah.
And you're probably going to get different results either way. But yeah, not enough information out there. How are you planning to sort of change that?
So obviously I want to, this is why I'm coming on here to speak to yourself today. I'm trying to just obviously get my name out there, get my story out there, and try and just promote some awareness, you know, showing that what can actually happen, you know, showing that if you do take all of this, yeah, you might look good, but look at the outcome, you know. I want to try and give support to people who've done it, support for the families as well, because it's not just the person who's taking the steroids who's affected, who can end up in a coma or death. You know, I should have died. Like, I had, my family were told literally to prepare for the worst, you know. So that's why I'm just wanting to get my story out there and show that it can just happen to any average person like myself. I'm nothing special. I'm a nobody. You know, I'm just Zak Wilkinson who was taking steroids and it happened to me. You know, so that's why I'm trying to get the awareness out there. I've got something set up of my own called Recovery is No Race, you know, where I want to go around to schools and colleges and work sites, workplaces where it's common, and just promote it, you know, and get my story out there to try and help younger generations, but my generation, older generation, and families as well.
And what kind of opportunities has that led to so far? I mean, obviously we're doing this.
Yeah, we're doing this. I done a podcast the other day. I went and done one of the sites I actually used to work at. It's actually the Giga Factory in Sunderland. It's biggest battery plant for Nissan, where they're going to be producing all the batteries for it. So I went and done a presentation to scaffolders there through JMAC Group. So yeah, it was good, enjoyable, got some good feedback from it.
How many people was that speaking in front of?
So that was in front of 50.
Okay.
I've been in touch with a charity called Lighthouse Charity. They're hopefully doing some things with that.
Great charity.
Great charity, mate. Charity. So hopefully doing some things through them. They're brilliant. And just like I say, I'm literally just contacting anyone to help me promote it, you know. And
I think you're doing a great job so far. Do you know what I mean?
I need to just try.
You need to give me some tips, because to say how that story is taken off, I think people are it's really resonated with a lot of people.
Yeah. Like you say, you're always going to get bad comeback, but to me, I've said to everyone, I can take 1 million bad comments if I can help that one person. You know, I got a couple of phone calls the other day, just saying how much it's helped them. You know, a lad reached out to me. He was banned for the cocaine, and he said, I wanted to speak to you for a while. I didn't know you were being able to speak and stuff since my recovery, but he reached out and we had a really good conversation about it. And you know, that's my part of my recovery. I'm still recovering, but this is my recovery, trying to help others. And I just want to give back. You know, I've been given this second chance at life. The things I see in the nurses that I had to put up with when I come out the coma. Sorry. Like you say, just wanting to give back and just show that you can get out of this and there is help out there.
Yeah, I think you're doing a fantastic job of it so far. I mean, it's like, as I say, it's definitely been picked up by the right people. Yeah. Speaking in public, I mean, clearly that's something that, you know, you don't really struggle with.
No, we said this on the phone, didn't we? Said we'd have to, I don't mind it, you know, probably just coming from...
people, by the way, to like, what I do professionally is like I deliver training courses for scaffolders, and like talking to scaffolders on a training course, sometimes, you know, they don't want to be there. The boss has told them they've got to go on this course for something. They're like, fuck, you know how to do that anyway. Why all of a sudden do we need a course around it? So like that can be a difficult sell. And it's only to a small group of people. Yeah. So sometimes they can be challenging. Yeah. To speak in front of 50 people straight off the bat. I mean, I was speaking to someone about this the other day. I remember having to give a speech at my own brother's wedding, and you think everybody in that room is there on your side. Yeah. They want you to do well. If your jokes aren't that great, they're still going to laugh. Yeah. You've got them on side from the get-go. But I was, before I did this for a little bit, like super, super nervous to the point where heart was beating out my chest. I remember even younger, like earlier on in life, if I was on a training course, like, I didn't even want to introduce myself. You know, when everyone's going around the room saying, "Oh, I'm Isaac." Oh, my heart would be beating through my chest. I'd absolutely hate it. But you kind of get used to it and you get better at it.
Yeah, that's it.
But to get thrown in at the deep end like that, man.
I think it's just helpful from obviously the background that I'm in. You know, scaffolders, you know, they love to talk. I certainly love to talk. You know, and for me, I feel like I've got to do it. You know, I'm doing it for the right reasons. So let's say I enjoy the communication with it. I got some great feedback from it. Like you say, normally when you go and see a presentation, or you see people sat on the phone, or people falling asleep. But no, it was really good, and I enjoyed it as well. So that's the main thing. I'm enjoying doing it as well.
Yeah, giving something back. I think it's a subject matter as well. Like I say, it's going to hit with a lot of people.
Hit home, yeah.
And I mean, we've all been in these safety presentations, like, make sure you do this and make sure you don't do that. And this guy happened to him, can happen to you. And like, I don't know whether we've all been on that many of them, that somehow and sometimes it's almost like white noise. It's like, oh, here we go again. But whereas with your story, it's like
different,
super honest, you know, like super real, like it's happened to me.
And it's not just, like you say, it's not just one audience. It's not just saying, I'm only doing this for the person who's took steroid. I'm doing this for the families, it could be the partner who's been through something, you know, or just the person themselves, you know. So obviously it's different when you go into a presentation at work, and it's, you know what's coming with the safety presentation, slips, trips, falls, things like that, you know what's coming, do you know what I mean? So yeah, like I say, it can be there for all different type of audiences, such as like the younger generation as well, going into schools. I think they'd relate quite a lot. You know, I think it'd hit home with them.
I think more so than ever, because like they're all exposed to it so early on.
Yeah. And again, that's, for me, that's where it all first started for me. So it's like, I want to nip it in the bud quick, you know, get straight to the jugular before they do get out in the big wide world and can get more access to it, you know, and basically just want to save people from how I started.
What would you say to someone who was, you know, they just started going to the gym, they're looking at the guy next to him, you know, big guy, and they want to get that result quickly? What would your message be to?
Time will tell. That will all come. You know, I just think everyone's got their own path. You know, yes, he might be much bigger, he might be more defined, might be fitter, might be stronger, everything. But you are going to get your chance. You know, this will all come to you. Everyone's got their own path. I see everything's like a stepping stone. This is my stepping stone now. You know, you've always got a choice to go left or right. You know, and I just think, like I say, just everyone's in their own path. He might have his own problems and issues going on. You might be better than him at something else. You know, so I just think, just always just think, step back and have a real good think. Because if I was saying it to my younger self, obviously I'd tell my situation, my story I've been through, but I just say, really, do you really want to do that? You know, and I'd want to show them the thought, you know, it's the thought of me in the coma, because I'm sure it shocks people when they see it. It did me, and I know it did you yourself. So.
100%. It's a powerful
It's powerful, mate, yeah. And like I say, when I do the presentation on it's on my presentation, and I don't say nothing when it comes on. I just look around the room, and you can see how much it's hit. You know, I let the picture speak, not me. You know, so that's what I'd do with the younger generation. That's why I feel like I can communicate well with the younger generation. I would like to, you know, just put it out there and get it straight to them.
Where just before we close up, where can people find you? Because I just think there's so many businesses, so many companies who could, and just schools, colleges, wherever, who could benefit from your message. Where can people find you?
So I'm on LinkedIn under Recovery is No Race. Like I say, the three things we're trying to promote here is recovery is no race.
And big up to J-Mac on the right shoulder.
J-Mac, yeah. We've got Claddin, also my other sponsors as well. We've got Claddin UK as well. They're sponsoring me. So yeah, it's like I say, mainly just LinkedIn. Recovery is no race at hotmail.com as well. Or even just try and find myself, Zak Wilkinson, as well. You know.
Well, if you Google Zak Wilkinson bodybuilder,
they'll know what will come.
Trust me,
Yeah.
you will find this guy.
Just have a little read.
Yeah.
Just have a little read.
I'm reading for the story because, man, it's definitely powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Zak, thank you so much for coming on. You've had a massive journey to get here from the northeast.
Yeah. Thank you for having us on, mate. And I just appreciate what you're doing as well. You're obviously out there. You're promoting the mental health awareness and things like that. So, from someone from the other side, thank you to you for doing that as well, mate. It's very much appreciated for what you're doing.
That means a lot, man. It really does. Zach, until next time, mate. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I truly hope you enjoy this episode. If you do, all I ask is that you like, subscribe, and get notified every time we drop a new episode.